Welcome to Zoe Stories. She said it was just a joke. Now I'm her full-time Sissy Maid flushed face ribbon. My name is Jake, and if you saw me walking down the street, tall, scruffy jawline, worn jeans, hoodie tugged low over my eyes, you'd never guess the truth. You'd never suspect that behind closed doors, in the quiet corners of my life, I wasn't just Jake. I was someone else too. Someone softer, hidden, and for the longest time forbidden. It started small. It always does. A joke. That's what Leah called it the first time she brought it up. Come on, babe. She'd giggled, sprawled across the couch in one of my oversized hoodies. You look so cute in this. Don't you ever wonder? I laughed it off. Of course I did. That's what you're supposed to do when your girlfriend jokes about dressing you up like a girl. You smirk, say something sarcastic, and move on. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because deep down, buried under years of shame and secrecy, a little part of me whispered yes. I've never told anyone. Not even my best friend. Not even my older sister, who would have probably understood. For years, I'd fought off the feelings, trying to fit into the role everyone expected of me. But late at night, when the city lights blurred against my bedroom window and silence wrapped around the room, I would open the secret drawer. Tucked beneath old school papers and spare computer cables was a small, hidden world. Lace panties, a light pink satin slip, and the lipstick I nervously bought on a solo trip across town. My heart would pound as I changed, each click of a buckle or tug of a stocking like thunder in the stillness. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was the escape. The transformation. The girl I became in that mirror wasn't a shameful secret. She was free. But that was my world. Private. Protected. And Leah? She didn't know. Or, at least, she wasn't supposed to. We lived together in a 2-bedroom apartment on the second floor of a quiet, unassuming complex. Leah was a whirlwind of contradictions, sharp-tongued but sweet, fiercely independent but oddly curious about me in ways that sometimes made me uncomfortable. Our place was modest. A cozy living room with warm lighting, a kitchen always half-stocked with wine and instant noodles, and a shared bedroom where we tangled in sheets and secrets. But the second bedroom, that was mine. My home office, I'd call it. Really, it was where I stored things I didn't want her to see, including her, the version of me that came out only when I was alone. Until the day she joked about it. Leah was always the one in charge. She liked being the center of attention, the one who set the tone. I was more passive, more observant, more submissive. And she picked up on that quickly. Sometimes she teased me about being too polite, too gentle, too obedient. You're not like other guys, she'd whisper while running a hand down my chest. That's why I keep you around. She meant it as a compliment, I think. But it also planted a seed. That maybe she saw more than she let on. That maybe, just maybe, she knew. And if she knew, what did that mean for me? That Friday, we were lounging after dinner. A bottle of wine between us, her feet in my lap, the TV playing something neither of us were watching. She looked at me suddenly, a sly smile curling on her lips. Let's play a game, she said. I blinked. What kind of game? She tilted her head, fingers twirling a lock of her dark hair. You let me dress you up. Just once. Full makeup. Wig, clothes. You don't say no. We see how far we can take it. Just for laughs. I froze. My throat tightened. My heart pounded like a war drum. She knows. Oh, God, she knows. But instead I laughed. That's messed up. She grinned. Are you scared you'll like it? And that was it. That was the moment everything changed. The moment her joke stopped being funny. The moment I realized the wall I'd carefully built between Jake and the secret me, the soft, painted, skirt-wearing me, was about to collapse. And the worst part? I said yes. It started like a dare. Leah pulled me into our bedroom that night with an electric kind of glee, like she was about to play dress up with a new Barbie doll. Only this time, the doll was me. Strip, she whispered, tugging my hoodie over my head before I could protest. My breath caught in my throat. I should have stopped her. I should have said no. But her eyes sparkled with something I couldn't explain, amusement, and something else.
Control.
Relax, Jake, she said, almost sweetly. It's just a joke, remember? She started with the lingerie. Soft black panties. A silky bra that didn't even come close to fitting, but still made my chest tingle when she clipped it behind my back. She held up a matching garter belt with a grin and clipped it around my waist like she was fastening a collar on a pet. Look at you, she giggled. You've done this before, haven't you? My heart sank. Did she know? My silence answered her question. And I think she loved that. She pulled out a pair of black fishnet stockings, where had she even gotten these, and rolled them up my trembling legs. You've got great legs, you know that, she said casually, like we weren't breaking every unspoken rule of our relationship. Honestly, I'm jealous. I wanted to crawl under the floor, but at the same time, something inside me was thrumming. The pressure I'd kept buried for so long, the ache to be this soft, this exposed, this seen, was bubbling to the surface. Then came the skirt.
Tight.
Leather. Hugged my hips like it was made for me. We're gonna need a name for you, Leah teased as she smoothed the fabric. Jake just won't do. How about Jasmine? I blinked. Jasmine?
No, that wasn't me.
But I didn't say anything, because I liked how it sounded in her voice. She sat me down in front of her vanity. I'd never sat there before. That was her throne. Now it was mine. She pulled my hair back in a clip and got to work. Foundation. Concealer. Contour. Her fingers moved like magic, brushing away the tired shadows of Jake and painting someone new onto my skin. When she picked up the eyeliner, I flinched. Don't be a baby, she said, smirking. Eyes up. Then the lashes. Then the lipstick, deep pink, glossy, sticky. I looked into the mirror. I wasn't Jake anymore. I was someone else. That girl staring back at me, fake lashes fluttering, lips parted in shock, chest rising and falling like she was about to cry, was beautiful. She looked scared.
Exposed.
But also whole. Leah leaned down beside me, her voice low and dangerous. You're too good at this. Tell me this isn't the first time. I opened my mouth. Closed it. Swallowed. Then, it's not. She smiled like she'd just solved a puzzle. Knew it. Something cracked open inside me that night, like a shell peeling away. I'd lived with guilt and fear for so long. The very act of admitting it felt like falling off a cliff, terrifying but somehow freeing. She knows. I don't have to hide anymore. But that thought quickly turned into something darker. If she knows, what will she do with it? Because when Leah stood behind me, watching me in the mirror, she didn't look like a supportive girlfriend. She looked like a puppeteer who'd just found a new favorite toy. She made me pose. In front of the mirror. On the bed. Kneeling on the carpet with hands delicately folded like a maid. Each click of her phone made my skin crawl, but I obeyed.
I didn't know why.
Maybe because I didn't want her to stop. Maybe because I was scared of what she'd do if I said no. Smile, Jasmine, she said, snapping another shot. Good girl, smile. The next morning, I thought it'd be over. She'd laugh, tell me it was fun, and we'd go back to normal. We didn't. She left a pile of clothes on the bed before heading to work. The same lingerie, a different skirt, a new top. With a note. Wear this. Clean the apartment. I'll be home by 6.
L.
I stared at it for a long time. The old me, the Jake I'd carefully cultivated, wanted to rip the note in half and throw the clothes away. But the other me? She picked them up with trembling fingers and changed. I cleaned the apartment in heels. Every knock at the door was a heart attack. Every floorboard creak, every hum of a neighbor's voice sent shivers down my spine. What if someone sees me? What if Leah comes home early? What if I can't stop? But as I dusted the shelves and folded the laundry in my tight top and miniskirt, I felt something I hadn't felt in years.
Peace.
Maybe even purpose. At 5:32 p.m., my phone buzzed. Leah. Hope you didn't disappoint me today, Sissy. I nearly dropped the phone. That word, Sissy, landed like a slap. But also a kiss. It was humiliation and validation all in one. Jake would have been furious. But Jasmine? Jasmine just blushed. Over the next week, things escalated. Each day, Leah left out new outfits. Each day, I wore them. Each night, she'd inspect me like a queen judging her servant, adjusting my makeup, scolding my posture, tightening my corset while whispering, "You're getting better, Jasmine." Almost convincing. Almost perfect. I wanted to stop. I wanted to run. But every time I looked in the mirror and saw her staring back, that soft, fragile girl, I couldn't bring myself to undo her. Leah knew that. And she used it. It was Friday night when Leah told me she had a surprise. I was already dressed. She'd picked out a sleek red dress. Tight, backless, barely covering my thighs. She'd curled my hair, glued on thick lashes, made me wear perfume. My lips gleamed in the mirror, the same glossy crimson as the dress. "Tonight," she whispered, "we're going out." I froze. Out? Like, outside. "MtF.
Just for a little walk.
You'll be safe. You trust me, right?" I wanted to say no, but I nodded. Because Jasmine trusted her. It was just the sidewalk outside our apartment. But to me, it felt like a stage. Every streetlight was a spotlight. Every shadow was a pair of judging eyes. My heels clicked on the pavement like gunshots. My hips swayed, unintentionally. Leah walked beside me, proud and confident, like she was showing off her prize. "You're beautiful," she whispered in my ear. "No one would ever guess you were a boy." I should have hated how that made me feel, but I didn't. Back inside, I thought we were done. But Leah had one more surprise. She pulled out her phone and showed me something that made my stomach drop. Photos.
Dozens of them.
Me in lingerie. Me in heels. Me on my knees, blushing, lips parted in embarrassment. Me in that red dress. "What are you doing?" I asked, voice shaking. "Relax," she said, calm as ever. "They're just for me, unless you decide to get boring again." I blinked. "Are you blackmailing me?" She smiled. "No, baby. I'm motivating you." And that's when I knew. This wasn't a joke anymore. Over the next few days, everything changed. She made me wear girly clothes even when I was alone. She put a tracking app on my phone. She gave me rules. Makeup on by 9. Cleaning in heels. Practice voice exercises. No Jake clothes allowed at home.
She even made a chart.
A literal chore and femininity chart. Each day had tasks. If I completed them, she gave me little rewards, lip gloss, new panties, affection. If I failed, she threatened to send the photos to friends. My mom. My boss. "Don't make me do it," she'd say, sweet as sugar. "Be a good girl, Jasmine." One afternoon I snapped. I tore off the wig, kicked off the heels, wiped the makeup off with shaking hands, and screamed at the mirror. This isn't me. But the face staring back looked empty. Jake was gone. Or maybe he was never strong enough to begin with. Still, I waited for Leah to come home, determined to tell her it was over. But when she walked in and saw me in sweats, makeup smudged, she didn't yell. She just stared. Quiet. Then she whispered, "Do you want to see what happens when Jasmine disobeys?" She pulled out her phone, opened a group chat. My blood ran cold. There, my sister's name. My coworker. 2 old friends from college. She hovered her finger over the send button with a photo selected. Me in full makeup, garter belt, and bra. "You're bluffing," I said, voice dry. "Am I?" I crumbled. Dropped to my knees. "Please don't." She smiled. "Then say it." I knew what she wanted. "Say you're my good girl." My lips trembled. "I'm your good girl." "Say it like you mean it." "I'm your good girl." "What's your name?" "Jasmine." That night, I curled up on the floor of the bathroom and cried silently for hours. I couldn't tell where I ended and Jasmine began anymore. My shame, my fear, my need to not lose her, it all melted into one horrible truth. I wasn't being forced anymore. I was choosing this. Even if I hated myself for it. The next morning, Leah acted like everything was normal. She made pancakes, hummed a song, kissed me on the cheek as I stood there in silence, wearing a soft pink nightie, lace trim tickling my thighs, mascara from last night still clinging to my lashes. "I'm proud of you," she said sweetly. "You're really becoming her." Becoming her? I didn't even flinch anymore. Later that day, there was a knock at the door. I opened it cautiously. A delivery man handed me a large white box. I closed the door quickly, heart pounding. Leah wasn't home. The label had her name on it. But I knew it was for me. I opened it. Inside, a custom French-made uniform. Black and white.
Silky.
Frilly. Skirt absurdly short. White stockings and matching heels. A pink satin collar. There was a note. "For my pretty little housemaid. I'll be home by 7.
Be dressed. Leah."
My knees buckled. And still, I got dressed. By the time the clock hit 7 p.m., I was standing by the door, feather duster in hand, cheeks blushing, knees trembling. The heels were sky-high. The skirt was a joke. The collar around my neck jingled when I moved. When Leah walked in, she stopped. Her eyes sparkled. "My little joke," she whispered, circling me slowly, "has turned into a beautiful reality." She leaned close, kissed my ear. "And you love it, don't you?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out, because I didn't know anymore. Was I still pretending? Or was this who I had become? Later that night, I went to plug in my phone, only to see it was already open. To my Instagram. And there it was. A new post.
Me.
In the maid outfit. Face fully visible. Captioned. "Meet Jasmine 2 hearts, my full-time Sissy Maid." I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking. I burst into the bedroom. "What did you do? You posted me?" "Everyone can see." Leah was already lying in bed, smirking.
Calm.
Serene. "Relax, Jasmine. It only went to my private story. Just a few trusted friends." "You said." "I said it was just a joke, remember?" She sat up, her voice suddenly soft, serious. "But now it's not. This is your life. You're mine. You've always been mine." I stood frozen in the doorway, heart racing, legs trembling. Somewhere deep inside, Jake was still screaming. But Jasmine? She was silent, staring, breathing.
Real.
Leah patted the side of the bed. "Come here, Jasmine."
Now.
I walked. And as I sank beside her, head bowed, dress rustling softly, she whispered the final blow. "You were never the boyfriend. You were always the maid."